It's 5 o'clock now. I think we should start entering the people and get going now.
What do you think, Vijay? Should we go ahead?
Yeah, please. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, thank you everybody for joining today's call by today presentation, which is on sustainability and governance by Dr. Yogendra Saxena. On topic is sustainability, why and how, very important for today. I would like, before I start and introduce Dr. Saxena, I request a few words from our new president, UTCT of UTCT Alumni Association, Vijay, to say a few words. Please, over to you, Vijay.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everybody. It's good to be seen that under with Dinesh at the chapter committee, we are seeing the second lecture in the series from the North or Delhi chapter, what you call it. And hope the thing continues. It's one way of keeping the members together, one way of doing that, and hopefully we'll see participation getting more and more later on. One thing just I wanted to check because now we have our YouTube channel on. So whether we have the permission of the speaker to have this recorded version put on the YouTube?
No problem at all.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So that is the additional advantage that it can be continue. It is basically available to all the people around, and they can see it at whenever they have time they want to. And we can also what you call is convey to the student, because right now I don't think that the current students who are in the institute, since they are not alumni, they will not be able to join the lectures. Am I correct, Dinesh?
Yes.
Okay.
We will try that, even if we can. I think we can circulate that to the even to the.
Probably we can. I think
future,
because
in future
yeah,
we
in
can.
future we can think of that way. So we can also, because some of the topics are such that they are quite relevant to the students currently, and these what you call these kind of things, they are not probably they may not get to learn them during their course of the curriculum. So that will be an advantage. We'll see later on. Just to give a brief on what UA does, probably some of you might be knowing. And this time we will be more focusing on communication as such, because that is what we are lacking somewhat in the earlier part. And over the period, it was in the pipeline during the last 2 terms under Sanjay, and we are continuing more aggressively during the current term and maybe later on also. One part I would like to have from the northern chapter is the members who are there. Do you have anything on the people who are from the who are having their own industry as such? That is one part. And secondly, the younger members who have passed out from the ICT and who are in the northern region. Do we have that kind of data available, or do you need that data? Because that is one way of getting them together.
So we will work on that. We have a lot of data, but we will work on that, and we'll take it forward on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. So I mean, it's a good thing to be seeing the activities of the chapter live. So congratulations, and hope the thing this continues. Over to you, Dinesh.
Thank you, Vijay. So going forward, and Dr. Y.K. Saxena has over 4 decades of experience in EHS and corporate sustainability. He led sustainability agenda at leading Indian corporates, Tata Power, Jubilant, Ambuja Cement, as well as multilateral organizations such as UNDP and Central Pollution Control Board. A sustainability leader of international repute, Dr. Saxena has been instrumental in several key policy advocacy initiatives, leading a diverse stakeholder base representing businesses, governments, academia, civil society, etc. He has also authored 2 books and has been a very active member and uh, very active in our northern chapter also. We request Dr. Saxena for his lecture. Over to you, Dr. Saxena, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure. In fact, since 2015, nowadays, what is I'm doing is awareness on Swachh Bharat in primary schools and on sustainability in ESG in business schools and engineering institutions. So technically, I'm not a technical man because much more in awareness only. And that is the reason. If you invite anybody for puja at home, the first thing the Pandit will say that let's start with the Shri Ganeshaya Namah. And for me as an environment professional, firstly, I will say that the most important thing from an environment and sustainability point of view is the Swachh Bharat. Everybody must make sure that his surroundings, whether it's a home, office, factory, it's clean. And what we should do for Swachh Bharat, we must make sure to segregate, dispose, reuse garbage, and keep our neighborhood clean. And proudly we should say that, yes, I am very much environmentally conscious and I'm keeping my country clean. Certain things, only few things, if we think a little green, we just bin it. Thank God we have many kabalis in this country. So if you bin something, it will be certainly taken by somebody. We will recycle it, like newspaper bottles and all. We should have an action team in each and every school, in each and every factory. We must knock and request, as I'm requesting all of you. I'm surprised, we people, if I'm using the word.
ठीक है.
If I'm using the word middle class for us, most of us being the middle class hardly spend rupees 200 a month for garbage disposal. And that is the reason we have garbage lying here and there. We should go for energy efficiency type of equipment. Another word which is very important and most of us are not aware is the environmental level. This is the other part which was identified by Ministry of Environment and Forest in 1991, but today not even a single product is available on Indian shelf. But whenever we travel abroad, we can see that environmental level of that country are marked on the product, and those products are very much environment friendly. It means either at the manufacturing stage or at the utilization stage or disposal stage, the environmental impact is minimized. Individually, when we are going for shopping, we must make sure to take thala and we must respect all living things. This is just a request from each and everybody. Just think a little green before we think of a sustainability. What is sustainability? Sustainability in very simple terms is a triple bottom line performance, and that is the environment, economic, and social. And for these 3 things, if we would like to go for good performance, corporate governance in any industry is very important. So why we should be conscious about environmental, economic, and social for governance? Because it is our moral duty to keep the earth clean and green, as directed in our constitution also, as well as by the other international organizations like UN, that we need a sustainable living because the earth is only one and we are increasing day by day. If you see 2 articles of the Constitution of India, Article 48A says, the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment to safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. And it is very important, and most of us are not aware about these 2 articles of the Constitution of India. Article 51 states that it shall be duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the natural environment. And the impact is that our river Ganga is even polluted. If we see a little bit about the environmental legislation which has a major role to play in sustainability, the Indian Forest Act is 1927. Factories Act is 1948. The World Environment Day was created in June 5th, 1972 after the Stockholm Conference, which was attended by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. And that was the beginning of the Water Act of 1974, known as Water Prevention Control of Pollution. In 1981, we had the Air Pollution Control Act. 1984 was the Bhopal tragedy. And 1986, we came out with the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. Today, we have a NGT, National Green Tribunal, and up to 20,000 pages of regulation. Biodiversity Act, Batteries Management, Municipal Solid Waste, Plastic Waste, Companies Act because of the CSR, 20,000 plus pages, but our enforcement is lacking. The role of Pollution Control Board is very bad. State pollution control boards are not active. Even if you go to the Ministry of Environment and Forest today, most of the directors are not aware that this ministry has once notified about the environmental level, which is the earthen part, so-called. So this is the level of awareness even within the institution framework of India. Yesterday only I was having a discussion with a NGT expert judge, which is a technical part. And he was wondering that most of the judges, though are very good from the judging point of view, but environmental knowledge is very poor. So environmental compliance is very important for sustainability. And most of the corporates are not active as far as environment compliance is there. And time has come to go for beyond compliance if we want to achieve sustainability, at least the environmental performance of the corporate. As I told you, 1972 was the beginning of the environment movement globally, which created World Environment Day, June 5th. Later on, 2012, we had a first conference of sustainable development, Rio, which was famous like a Rio conference. Then later on, we have many climate change conferences, and the latest held in Scotland in 2021. And climate change is visible from the local temperature. Even today, if you see in Delhi, it is about 34, and Bombay is also about 34 degrees centigrade. Change of weather pattern is a clear sign. So the results after so much of legislation and sustainable development movement, as well as about sustainability, which we are talking, we have polluted air. I think in the month of November, it will be very difficult to sit outside in Delhi. Ganga pollution, our Air Act is more than 40 years old, but the Ganga is, Water Act is more than 40 years old, but the Ganga is polluted. Industrial pollution, because there is no vision in the industries. Corporate, especially the manufacturers and senior people of the industry, they are not serious. Everybody is interested in printing of the sustainability report, but they are not serious about the sustainability. The strategy of the industry is not matching with the strategy of the sustainability of that corporate. Garbage, if you go to any city, any industrial town, if you just move out of the factory, you can see the difference of the inside the factory and outside the factory. At the gate also, left hand side, if you see the gate, you can see that the pollution is there. And plastic bags are hanging like a totems, which is visible from our good trains also if you are moving in a train. Epicidal pollution, because most of our festivals certainly create some problem because of our rituals. And time has come now. We should change even our puja habits also. There is no need to go to temple with flower. There is no need to use agarbattis. There is no need to go with 5 kgs of sweets, for example. It is better you give it to the other places where people can eat. Vehicular pollution, yes, some changes are taking place, but because our population is increasing, vehicular pollution is also increasing day by day. Marine pollution, plastic is another problem which is creating nuisance in most of the cities in the coastal areas. Why so? When we have 20,000 of legislation pages, this is because of industry is unwilling even today, as I told you. If you see, for example, the report of any group, the sustainability report is very good, the annual report is very good. But if you go inside the industry from the back gate, exit gate, you will find maybe ESP is not working, back filters are not working. And even today, we are switching off back filters in industry for energy conservation and not saying what is happening. There's a condition by the Pollution Control Board called zero liquid discharge ZLD. Most of the industries are disposing effluent in the night into the natural surface waters. It is happening even in Rishikesh and Haridwar. Most of the hotels are disposing their sewage in the night into the river. So legal framework and knowledge of NGT judges, as I mentioned you, it needs a little knocking. There are other principles which are very important, like Millennium Development Goals, which was in existence till 2015. And now we talk about the Sustainable Development Goal. This is also one reason that most of the industries are also mapping their sustainability report with the SDGs also. These are 70 goals and came into existence in 2016. If you see India's new report about the Sustainable Development Report, India ranks 120 out of 193. And country score is only 63.45, where the Finland, Sweden, and Denmark are number 1, 2, and 3. We are lacking. And there are certain things which we are talking, for example, like net zero by 2070. I wonder that will be possible about, and mostly the next generation will see.
आजकल तो हम 1 बजे से लेकर रात के 4 बजे भी पी रहे हैं। वो सभी का हम भी देखते हैं कि मैं रात को
Sorry, Anil ji.
Excuse me, please mute your mic, please.
So why sustainability is important? Environment is important for the industry because of the consent, because of the ministry conditions, because of the permission which we take for setting up of the industry. But for future generation, it is important that sustainable development should be there, and we must manage unmanageable thing, which is called climate change. So sustainability is very important, and how we will do. The reason for sustainability is the key to preserve our planet. As I mentioned, there's only one Earth, and it is very difficult for us to survive beyond certain time. Sustainability has reduced pollution and conserved resources. Most people feel as if there is some extra money involved for sustainability. No. In simple terms, I say sustainability is not an skill, it's an attitude. For example, if you don't take the water, simple example which you created, like if the water, if the guest is coming to home, give a half glass of water. Most people don't drink, and they take a sip and then you are wasting the water. Sustainability creates job, implements the economy.
रघुवीर स्टोर मधनं आण रे शरद.
It improves the public health when the surroundings are good. It protects the biodiversity. It promotes social equity and justice. Sustainability in corporate industry is possible at no extra cost also, and its development is achievable, and political will and public health will, public support will require. The areas which become more important since last two decades due to governance includes the ethics. When we talk of governance, which is the first pillar for sustainability, members, this company secretary has a major role to play. Environment concern, safety and occupational health. Even today is happening in the industry. If somebody will die due to some accident, we will say, sir, don't worry, it's a labor. But that time has gone. This we used to say about 40 years back, but it's happening even in today also. Social issues, that is also very important. Labor rights, employee well-being. Most of the guard are working 12 hours a day. Time has come that we must regulate these things also. We are very much conscious about sustainability. Human rights, climate change, biodiversity, legal rights, these are certain things which are very important. Sustainability, because the global population is going to touch 9 billion and we are thinking of the net zero, so it is very important to look after the air pollution to water shortage as well as to safety and clean energy to achieve the target of net zero, means the less in CO2 reduction. As I mentioned, sustainability is not an skill, it's Instead, and sustainability is not an skill, it's an attitude. A change of attitude is required. Sustainability should be discussed at the board level. But what is happening, most of the MDs are very serious about signing a letter for sustainability report with a nice photograph. But they are not serious about the sustainability. The SEBI has mentioned that roughly 1,000 top industry are supposed to submit BRSR report, which is Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report. But most of the senior executive within the corporate are not aware what is BRSR, why we are doing. They just sign like a routine file. Drivers of sustainability for triple bottom line economic means the financial institution. If we talk about sustainability, there are about 90 indicators. We have 9 indicators for finance, roughly. Roughly 40 indicators are for social, human rights, child labor relation, corporate governance. About 30 on compliance. Rest are on biodiversity, human rights, and other things. If you see these 3 circles about the economic, environmental stewardship, and social progress, the inside thing is the gist of all the 3. When they are overlapping, it is sustainability, which is about 90 plus parameters. I am going to discuss which are those. Sustainability reporting is the first step to implement a strategy that can help the organization to minimize the impact, negative impact on the economy, society, as well as on the environment. There are many voluntary initiatives which also most of the industries are taking, like Carbon Disclosure Project, Water Disclosure Project, UNGC, United Nations Global Compact, Sustainable Development Goals, and many more. But most of us are very serious about the environmental awards, which are given by those who have no idea about the environment, like IOD, Green Tech Foundation, and many more. Each and every city, CSR handbook, CSR good book, everybody is thinking to give an advertisement and give an award. It costs about 50, 70, 80,000 rupees. And most of us are serious about the award, but not discussing or not serious about the sustainability. Why sustainability reporting? Because it is not only financial reporting. We are already doing in the annual report. It is the reliability of numbers for non-financial, but it is about transparency of the company, transparency of the organization. And that is the reason we also call sustainability reporting as non-financial reporting. Why it is important to go for sustainability reporting? Because when we are measuring something, we know and we can manage it also, to minimize it or to increase it depending upon what type of results we want. And if we cannot manage, we cannot change. And when we are parenting something, we are communicating something, it is get understood even by the local bodies also. Most of the organizations are preparing sustainability report in local languages, also 3-4 pages, so that the other stakeholders can also read it and understand what the company is doing for them. If we are preparing the sustainability report, what is required? The corporate philosophy of the group, top management commitment, especially the MD CEO, the vision, mission, values, which most of the industries are writing, and they are hanging once you go to the organization at the reception also. There was a time in early 90s when ISO 9000 culture started. Within 4 or 5 days, every industry took ISO 9000 because it was the need for a quality point of view. Same thing was for 14,000 environmental management system certification and 80,001 for OHS also. Each and every industry have many policies on environment, occupational health, safety, CSR, HR initiative, prevention of sexual harassment, gender diversity. But we are so weak in our knowledge. Most of us will say that we have a policy on sexual harassment. Meaning is totally different. The policy is prevention of sexual harassment. So what I'm trying to say, that industry is moving in this direction, but the top management is not aware what we are doing. Various corporate policies are also very important on ethics and integrity. And we have many corporate policies from that point of view, from governance point of view, if you read any annual report. And most of us, I think, are part of the organization and know. There was a culture came about the policy on climate change mitigation. Everybody wrote a policy on climate change mitigation without thinking. What is required whenever we are writing a policy, we must develop a framework that how we will monitor this policy also. Like, for example, if we talk about the policy on sexual harassment, prevention of sexual harassment, it should have 5 members, one lady also, one from NGO also. They must meet after every 3 months and say they must discuss what is happening. If there's any case, for example, coming to us, how to deal with that type of cases. So it is better to have a framework for the policy. Otherwise, just writing a policy and hanging at the reception at prominent place in the industry doesn't solve. And it is happening in most of the industries today. Materiality is very important. What is material for my organization? For example, if we take a case of a thermal power plant, the coal is material to thermal power plant. So industry has to map out what is material things for them, so that we can know that coal is important to us. We must store coal for 2 months so that we can work at least 2 months if there's a strike or something. Then what type of coal we must procure? We must go for greening the supply chain also. These are some aspects which are related to other. Any industry group, if we are talking about, all department has to play a major role. We must form 2 members from each group, like for profile and strategy, communication department, HR or CR, community relation or CSR department, or administration. We should have one top man and one junior person. So from each department, we should have 2 person at least, and then we should have a corporate sustainability committee, if you see the bottom. And this corporate sustainability committee will help about the sustainability reporting. But what we feel as if it is the duty of the environment department or it is the duty of the corporate communication to compile the report, and it is not possible. Recently, one group invited me that if I can develop a sensitivity report for them in 2 months' time, and I said, no, it's not possible. Unless your 20 people are serious during these 2 months, I alone cannot write something in 2 months' time. The stakeholder has a major role to play. Any person who has an interest in the organization is stakeholder. Earlier, we used to have a feeling that the person who is buying our product, he is a stakeholder. Customer, no. But today, if we see a stakeholder, sponsor, funding body, customer, supplier, end user, HEC, pollution control board, maintenance team, neighbors, communities, everybody is a stakeholder of the organization. And stakeholder engagement is very important from sustainability point of view, to find out what positive and what negative they are feeling in different directions so that we can improve. GRI is a framework, Global Reporting Initiative. It started in 2000. 2002, the first G2 group came. By chance, I was the member of the stakeholder consultation of G3 from 2003 to 2008. Then there was a G4 in 2009. And recently now we don't work on these initiatives. It is known as the Global Sustainability GSSB Standards Board. So there is one way of writing a sustainability report based on GRI. Then in London, we have an integrated reporting system. So GRI is now known as Global Sustainability Standard Board since 2016. ISO 26000 is also standard, something like sustainability reporting, but most of the countries are not following 26000. They are going for GRI Netherlands GSSB standards writing. Integrated reporting was set up in UK, London. What happened to industry thought that they are writing an annual report, then a corporate sustainability report, then a sustainability report also. Why these type of 3 reports are required? So they decided let's go for integrated reporting. An annual report which has the financial data will also have the details of the sustainability also. In this, we have about 1 minute. If you see 6 capitals we have: financial, manufacture, human, social, relationship, intellectual, nature. But if somebody asks me what is my choice for sustainability reporting, I will say to GRI. Because GRI, we have about 90 standards plus, so and we can write a very good sustainability report and we can work in very good sustainable development initiatives thing. Whereas integrated reporting is more like an IWAT and you can just say, yes, I'm writing a sustainability report. And that is the reason Indian corporate are moving in this direction. From GRI, they are moving to IR. As I mentioned, when we are writing sustainability report, there are many other initiative voluntary which industry is taking place. Any cement industry, for example, any big corporate are working in this direction, like Carbon Disclosure Project, CDP, UNGC, Building Responsibility Report, Business Responsibility Report, which is BRSR now, Sustainability Development Goal, National Voluntary Guidelines, ABCD, XYZ, whatever it is there. What I'm trying to say, like if suppose we are writing in GRI scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, which is about the energy required direct from the State Electricity Board, for example. Scope 2, whatever we are producing from DG set, or in scope 3, whatever we are using for other mode of things like transportation for the stakeholders. Same requirement might be there in CDP also. So we can map with our SDG, Sustainable Development Goals also. And most of the sustainability report are mapping these initiative, voluntary initiative, along with GRI standards. Corporate governance, as I mentioned, it is very important. We cannot move out. If you see sustainability report, roughly 20% is based on corporate governance also. And for good corporate governance, certain policies which we are working through company secretary, like ethics, conduct of their business, and they are very important, and they are part of the social part of the sustainability report. And 4 pillars of a good governance in any corporate is accountability, fairness, transparency, and independence. And that is the reason now the role of independent director is also very important. I'm sorry, I don't know, few slides are very slow. So code of, if you see any annual report, and this is also part of the sustainability report, policy on fair disclosure, CSR policy, which is about 2% of the total profit after the tax, nomination, evaluation of the senior officers, policy on related party transition, policy on material subsidy, whistleblower policy, and code of conduct, etc. They are part of the sustainability, and they are part of the social part of the sustainability report. This I have seen. The majority of sustainability actions undertaking to date appear to be limited to those necessary to meet regulatory requirements. What is happening today? Most of us in a corporate are very serious that we should have 100% compliance. How? Either by handling or by mishandling. Handling, in terms of handling your problem, if our ESP is not working, yes, we will rectify ESP, we will change ESP. Mishandling, look after the pollution control board employee, for example, it is like income tax. And 70% of the survey respondents has seen that the clear business case of sustainability is not existing in any industry. 90% of the senior staff of a good corporate, I have worked in 3 good corporates, and I have seen, and I have surveyed this in last assignment with Tata Power. Senior officer like financial controller, head of HR, head of administration, they have no idea what is CSR or what is sustainability. If admin is looking after CSR, they are aware of, no doubt about it. But sustainability, why? And they used to say, why you are coming and having problem for us? Sustainability is moving in corporate, but is moving in a very slow rate. If you see the size of the industry, it is on top 100, 150 corporates only. It has not percolated down to medium enterprises as well as to small scale enterprises also. And time has come, what I suggest in business schools, it is the duty of each and every corporate, big one, for example, like Ambuja Cement, that they must look after their 10 medium and 10 small scale suppliers, which are coming from small scale industries, and it will be part of their greening the supply chain, which is also one requirement today. ESG is a new word. And what is ESG? Basically, it is how you invest your money so that it is going for a good sustainable development. So if you are going for sustainability, certainly ESG is very important, environment and social governance. These are some emerging trends which is happening. TCFD, Task Force for Climate Related Disclosure. For example, how much money or something you are investing financially on climate change. Net zero, which is like Indian government thing, by 2070 we will be net zero, but I have doubt, because when our Water Act is 1974 and Ganga is polluted, net zero certainly will be a dream for all of us. Circular economy, certain industries have started like Apple. If you're buying a new Apple product, they are buying back to the old one. TNFD, Task for Nature-Related Financial Disclosure. INDC is about the climate change, as India says that our intensity is very low. The intensity of CO2 emission of India is less because our population is high. So we are getting advantage of this INDC. And ESG disclosure is same as sustainability disclosure. Top 10 social issues which are important from sustainable point of view today are climate change, diversity and inclusion, clean energy. Most of the countries are moving. India is doing very good as far as clean energy is concerned. From solar point of view, yes, thermal we will take some time. Water management, waste management, sustainable agriculture practice, they are very important basically today. Sustainable forestry, the role of IFS officer is very important. Biodiversity, we are lacking in this area. Nutrition, we are lacking. That is the reason our SDG score is less. Sustainable Development Goals. Smart city, there was a time when 2014-15, we thought we will have so much of small cities, but I have not seen any city which we can say is a smart today. We are lacking in this direction also. ESG should be supported from the top, as I mentioned in my first slide also, and I will say again, if we have to be serious about MD and CEO and director has a major role to play, and sustainability should be discussed at board level in each and every board meeting. In conclusion, I will say, global economic governance will therefore be critical without sustainable development. Hence, sustainability is very much needed for governance and business perspective, and sustainability reporting is a backbone for transparency, for inclusive growth, and for global governance and sustainable development. Tomorrow, ESG will be a main factor for investment. And that is the reason, like World Bank, IDFC, BNY Mellon, for example, Union Bank of Switzerland, they are all very much serious about ESG, and the whole team is working and assessing the industry that where they must invest come from others' money also. So sustainability should be main strategy for our business. And I think if we are moving into sustainability, we will certainly reduce the low carbon transition, and we will move for a better world tomorrow, and we will have at least certain control on a thing which is not possible to control, which is climate change. Hopefully, the future will be bright if we are serious about CO2 emission and sustainability reporting. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Saxena,
Thank you.
and for a very, very informative lecture. And I would like now people to ask questions. If anybody has a question, please raise your hand or put it in the chat box, please.
I would like to ask a question to Dr. Saxena.
Yes,
Go ahead.
please.
Go ahead.
Dr. Sustainability as a part of the government initiative, or for that matter, to be done by everyone, has to begin. I think it has to begin from home. And I feel that I should be the one who should be really taking, a first step to do something for the society. And can you please guide me? How can I go about, taking some initiatives, doing something so that, when I do it, they become visible for the others to follow? Because I live in a society where 150 families live. So if I do something, it should get attracted to the majority, so that things start from home itself.
The first slide, 3, when I mentioned the think little green. 4 things if you start doing for the society, which is segregation of garbage, the dry and wet separately, switching off the electricity when it is not required, conservation. It is known as pollution control at source. Whatever energy we are saving in terms of coal burning, less CO2 emission, less fly ash disposal. You have a society where you have 150 people, call me one day for a cup of tea. You can request everybody to come for a 10 minutes. We will discuss this part. And
Sure.
it will be our movement for Swachh Bharat, because only Modi ji cannot think of Swachh Bharat. Taking jhadu on 2nd October and cleaning a photograph on YouTube will not solve the problem. Everybody has to clean and put some money for cleanness. Proper segregation of garbage is the key for a clean city. which is happening. For example, Dinesh, you had been to US recently. This morning only you came. We hardly see anything on the road. And we have, yes, in our country, the road is sweeping in the morning and we have evening by evening, we have garbage. So please segregate and call me for a cup of tea, Bhisham. We will take care of that.
Certainly, sir. I'll take it up with my society management and try and see that you are here. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saxena. Can any other question, please?
Hello, sir. I'm Simran. I wanted to ask a question. Can I also?
Go ahead, Simran, please.
Okay. Hello, doctor. It has been very nice to hear your lecture and it's very insightful. Actually, I have just started on my own as a sustainability consultant and I have the background of sustainability in biodegradable master batches and compostable master batches. So now I'm working for the polymer and the textile industry in PET, LLDP, LDP, and various other polymers. So I just need your guidance on because I am working with 3 companies right now. One is into core packaging, like lamination pouches. One is into chemical, it's actually pyrolysis and chemical recycling from another person from university itself. And there's one more project coming up. And this is a very early stage of career for me. This is the second month of starting on my own. I would like to have your inputs on how do I build it in a stronger way and a robust foundation and your guidance on it overall.
Similar, you can take my coordinates either from the first slide here, and we can discuss. If you have any problem, we can discuss some other time. Okay, you can call me on my mobile number. If you want, you can note it down right now, 98103.
Important. Congrats. Evuru?
98103
98103 12340.
12340.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And whenever you have any problem, call me. My pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Subhash.
Yeah. Good evening,
Dr.
sir.
Please, you want to ask a question, please?
Yeah, I have few questions, or you can say points to say. I have been working with corporate plants and manufacturing, where a lot of litter is generated, waste is generated, effluents are generated. We have, as you rightly said, we mismanage and mishandle. We manage pollution control board, we manage every other authority, but I had worked at a very senior level, at a vertical head of a particular, I don't want to say anything more than that, as a vertical. My all pleas with the management were just shown that where is the money for this. But they had a lot of money, fat salaries, good accommodation, good perks. But when we talk of money, 2% CSR, it is actually hidden under the carpet. We have how to manage these issues. The government agencies don't force at all. They come and say, hello, how are you? And good dinner, good lunch, good accommodation, good guest housing. But how to move, how to penetrate this? This is the problem. Am I right?
Yes. Shubhati, you have little more gray hairs than me. I have worked in.
No, I have worked with the topmost industrial house.
Yes. So your experience is more than mine. But
I'm a
what I will
manufacturing manager.
say.
I'm a chemical engineer by education
Yeah.
from LIT in Nagpur. So I have worked in many chloralkali industries, EDC, VCM, PVC. But it's really painful for me to say, though I had the direction to make sustainability that this plant should continue and all efforts should continue. But at the end of the day, I'm shown the yellow card, where is the money?
Sir, your time was different. My time was different. Now things are changing. I have seen the changes. You have not named the industry, but I can name also. When I was with Ambuja Cement and I told Mr. Narottam Saxena, another gentleman from UDCT only, gold medalist, MD of Ambuja Cement, that we would like to go. 2004, I mentioned that we would like to go for sustainability reporting, and he said, why I have to disclose my financial results with everybody?
Yeah.
And overnight, when Holcim took over Ambuja Cement, we want to start a cement sustainability initiative immediately within a fortnight. That changes took place. So if you see in these 20 years, last 2 decades, things are changing. Deveshwar used to say about ITC, those days ITC report was like a Femina magazine. Girl is taking a bath with a soap or shampoo, for example. But now if you see the report, they are talking about zero liquid discharge and all that. Things are changing. I will not name the industry. I have seen people how they are disposing their effluent inside and creating problem for the groundwater. But things are changing. NGT is there. Yes, last 2 decades, changing process was very slow. But now time has come. There's no other way. We have to be conscious about it. In fact, the role of business school is very important.
Awareness programs are very important.
Yeah.
And somebody at the SEBI level or board of director level, I'm a member of IOD also. They're also same things. A lot of good things are done. Sustainable London report, this report, Singapore report. Finally, at the end of the day, some prizes, some good photographs, good lunch.
That's the reason when I go to business schools, I say only you can change it. It's very important that each and every business school must have a curriculum on sustainable development.
Okay, thank you very much,
And
sir.
it is happening.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you so much. Dr. Saxena, another question from Mr. Hariom Yadav. How
Yeah.
the circular economic change can change sustainability activity?
Well, the best example I will give you, the COVID period. I mentioned these 2 photographs to somebody when I was presenting. I think it was Flame University, Pune, when I was doing. They have something called Kahda, which was available in the market from Dabur. At the box of this is about 6 inches, and the Kahda is about 2 inches only. This whole box is empty. Now for circular economy, if you see, compare this Kahda with Apple, for example, Apple and Nokia boxes have come down. The consumption of paper and plastic packaging is less in the Apple box, if you see. And Apple is buying back their old equipment if you're buying a new Apple from them. This is circular economy. Changes are taking place, but most of the Indians are not thinking in that direction. We must not buy the product which is fooling us. Why we have to buy hing, for example, is another thing. The hing is the box of the hing, the shishi plastic one is about this size, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches. And hing is hardly 1 gram, only not even 1 mm in height. Time has come, we must say we will not buy these products. We should not buy the product which is available on shelf without having a detailed description about the product also. Circular economy is another word like a net zero, Mr. Yadav, but hopefully things will change. If you go to Europe, you will see circular economy is very popular, but in India, certainly it is not, and most of us, neither the corporate who are making consumer products, FMCG are aware, not we as a purchaser is aware of this. If we go for buying a shirt, we want 2 bags at least. Why we need a bag? We can bring the shirt without a bag also. But when the bag is free, we want 2. If they say, no, you have to pay 10 rupees, for example, lifestyle, we say, bhaiya, bag nahi chahiye. This is thinking we have, you know.
Thank you, Dr. Saxena. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Another question from Mr. Ketan Desai. Would you like to comment on sustainability and India's net zero emission by 2070?
I told you net zero is not in my hands. I don't agree about Modi ji saying net zero by 2070. But at the same time, I'm surprised with the Indian corporate also, why they are taking time in deciding about the CO2 emission level. Each and every industry say that by 2030, we will reduce by 10%, by 2040, by 30%, by 2050, by 70%, by 2060, by 100%. Why we are saying 2070? Next government will say, they will say, vote us, we will not think of a net zero. It is going to happen after 24 election. Net zero will not be possible in my life at least. And about next generation, I cannot say because I will not be here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody. Any other question? So, gentlemen, I would like. Okay, sorry. There's a question from Sahil.
Dinesh, one thing regarding the knowledge part, what you said, is awareness is not there, or it is there, or it is very small. Why not since the government also is connected with the education policies and all, why not the subject is so much of important? It is not there in the curriculum of any engineering colleges. Or for that matter, if something is there, if I recall in the earlier school days, yes, we had something related to civics and all. But once you start passing out from, you come to 11th and 12th and later on, why not make this subject as a compulsory subject that only government can do?
Mr. Sunny, Ministry of Environment in early 80s suggested, when Kamalnath was minister, suggested even in IMT, they started one curriculum on environmental management. But that time came, the jobs were not available, and ministry is aware of this also. But ministry has no idea about, they give compliance still again 6 pages. Some conditions are there, but they have no idea what is sustainability. That is the reason I mentioned yesterday, I was talking to some judge from the National Green Tribunal, and I mentioned that you must force industry to go for sustainability movement also. Sustainable. Awareness is there, willingness is not there. If you are a MD of your organization, your thinking is totally different. That is the problem.
So I think what Vijay was saying, Dr. Saxena, is that why in the curriculum we should at least have one lecture on sustainability.
It is part of that. Somewhere we're during strategy they are discussing, and that is the reason at least 4 days in a month I'm busy giving lectures only. Now 21st I have a lecture in Business School, Delhi University South Campus, and same day on the ISB also, Indian School of Business. They are working. But tomorrow when the young generation go and work under you and you are a MD, you are saying, no, I'm not interested in this. Where I have money. That is the problem. So awareness is there, willingness is not there.
So I think that's nice. We should expand the last question. Could you please comment on this is from Sahil. Could you please comment on this CBAM that EU is mandating, and what should Indian MSMEs do?
Can you repeat the question?
Could you please comment on the CBAM that EU is mandating, and what should Indian MSMEs do?
I have no idea about this abbreviation which he's using, and I have no idea about MSMEs also. Because MSMEs are not working in this direction. There is an association in the area of MSMEs, but they are not moving in sustainability and sustainability reporting. From compliance point of view also, they are very much late.
Sahil, if you're online, can you explain CBAM?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's this carbon abatement, carbon border abatement mechanism, carbon border adjustment mechanism.
Okay, it is basically about the reduction of CO2 carbon management. What MSME is doing, I have no idea.
What I was asking rather is because by 2026, I think we have some time for the MSMEs to adjust and start giving the carbon numbers and such. So, how should this transition be? What are the steps that Indian MSMEs should take to cater for this new mandate that EU is starting?
See, if we just take the case of an MSME, any industry, the first thing they have to do is think about the stopping of DG set. That is the main culprit of the CO2 emission. There is no other thing which is basically creating carbon emission problem for them, carbon abatement problem for them. So unless you go and take 10 industry, work for them, I have no idea how they will do. But we are very good in fake of working. They will certainly submit a very good report in 2026 that this is what they have done. And one of us like consultant will help in making that report also. But if you take me to some industry, I can guide.
So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody. I think we are coming to the end of the thing, which was today very, very elaborately, nicely explained in a systematic way all the mandates, articles, and also starting from Swachh Bharat, EcoMark 1991, how the articles are there, and what we should and how should we change our habits so that we can make the change in the environment. And also industry how the industry sustainability report is good, but in actual is not followed, and what we should do, what we should write should be the same what we are following or doing, so that it is really being actually being practiced. We have basically different areas of sustainability report, and corporate. It should not be like a corporate financial report, but it should be a report which is onto the sustainability part of corporately sustainability report on that. GRI, you did a very good job on GRI mapping report, and mapping the voluntary initiatives which we should take, so that we can make our world much better place with all the ethics, values, and conduct of good governance. Lot of new terms which we introduced, like TCFD, net zero, circular economy, TNFD, INDC, and ESG disclosures, which is, I think many of them are very important for us, and we should all know about it. And sustainable, how the sustainability can be taken to the society, and how we should meet not only in the industry and work in the society as well. Thankful to Veer Chandani, Simran, Subhash, Ketan, Desai, Vijay, and also Mr. Hariom Yadav for asking the questions. And thanks to everybody for joining this lecture series for today. And most important, thanks to Dr. Saxena for having
Thank you
taken
very
time out and take this lecture series. Thank you very much, everybody.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
nice
It was
weekend.
wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
You all.